Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this November MetaMask Community Call. We're very, very excited to talk with you guys. All the stuff that I'm sure everybody's got on their minds, all the questions, all the low-hanging fruit. We're going to really try and help work through those today. And we have some exciting stuff to share with you as well. I'll give you a quick, my name is Shay. I want to give you a quick housekeeping around Crowdcast, which is what we're using today for this call. On the right-hand side, as you know, you can see the chat flowing there. So feel free to have discussions in there and we'll keep an eye on that. But if you have a question you'd really like to ask Anthony or Isaac, please add that to the Ask a Question queue. I know we have some queued up questions already. Feel free to upvote any questions in there that are the same as maybe your question, so we don't have redundant questions, so we can make those a priority to answer. And then also, there's some polls. If you haven't already answered those, please fill those out for us, because then that gives us a sense of what kind of information is going to be helpful to you guys today. Also, throughout, I'll keep an eye on the questions, and I will ping Anthony and Isaac to those questions. And if you like to ask those questions yourself, I'll give you a chance to do that. If not, I can ask those on your behalf. So in other words, I can pull you up onto the screen, onto the stage to interact with Anthony and Isaac if you'd like. If not, go ahead, sit back and relax, and we can answer the questions that you ask for us. Okay. And then finally, the replay of this call will be available at the exact same link that you're looking at right now. Pretty soon, right after the call, which is really nice. It's also going to be on the MetaMask YouTube playlist for the community calls. So you'll be able to access the video here, as well as if you look at it on Crowdcast, you'll be able to see the chat and the questions and all that stuff too. All right. Well, I will hand the mic over to Isaac and Anthony.
Hello, guys. Welcome once again to our community call for this month. And you're welcome to MetaMask. So I'll just go on ahead and then introduce Anthony and myself. So Anthony, would you like to have a go?
I'm Anthony Albertorio. I'm the MetaMask user community lead and user community lead, and along with Shay, interim co-head of community and developer relations and community experience. And I'm just really excited about MetaMask and Web3 and all the amazing stuff that it allows people to do, normal, everyday people like you.
All right, cool. So, yeah, sure. So I'm Isaac Essuman, and I'm a MetaMask user community manager. And so the goal of this call is basically to discuss security practices, and then obviously respond to some of your questions, because we know we have like a huge following and we have like a lot of questions that you guys need answers to. So we decided to have this call and fill you guys in on what is really happening and the best security practices you can actually utilize. So let's go on ahead, and we'll talk about the ad-based internet, how the ad-based internet is broken. And the Web 2.0 status quo was built at a time when the internet lacked a transactional layer. And so basically, now we have disparate centralized services, which means that users have like they have to remember hundreds of passwords to hundreds of platforms that were regularly being hacked, and we're also leaking data. And many of these platforms no longer are growing, and they have like decline in experience, and they face growing regulatory pressure, and they are widely hated by the very people who hate them. And so in enters Web3, and we all know that to enter the Web3 phase, we all need a Web3 wallet. And MetaMask being the #1 Web3 wallet, obviously everyone is on board, and we know how best we can use it to enter the Web3 zone or the Web3 phase. And so I know most of you were sort of given the polls, and I saw a couple of answers. I saw your feedback on the polls. And yeah, so the first question was, how long have you been using MetaMask? And it seems we had majority of you voting for more than a year, which is really impressive. Yeah, it's really good. Anthony, do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, it's impressive. MetaMask is growing very rapidly. So the fact that the majority of the people on user call has been using it more than years, it's a pretty good thing. And hopefully some things are redundant from the things that we covered today, and some things hopefully are new. But if they're not, we're happy to explain all these things and help you guys.
Yeah, I was going to mention that it looks like there's like a split between new users, which is exciting, and people who have been using it for a while. So we really thank you for your loyalty to using MetaMask as we grow. And then for new users, hopefully we can give you some insight. And even for existing users, there's a lot of changes that have come through with MetaMask. And we also want to work with you guys to figure out how to better build it, provide better features for you guys to be using it. So this is a great opportunity to do that today.
Yeah, definitely. And so the next poll question was, how did you first discover MetaMask? And we had like more than 50%, actually 56.9% people saying they heard about MetaMask from mentions on social channels like Reddit, YouTube, and Twitter, which is really great. It means we are spreading our tentacles and we are reaching out wide. Yep. And the third poll question was, have you ever been asked to share your secret recovery phrase via a scammy website or community member in the past? And okay, thankfully this one says no, not that I'm aware, for majority of you. So 72.7% of you say you haven't been asked to share your secret recovery phrase, which is really good. And unfortunately, we have like 27% saying they have been. And I'm really sorry for that, for all of you who have been in this situation. I'm really sorry about that. But obviously, that's the reason for this call. We want to sort of arm you with the knowledge that you need. We want to arm you with these security practices so that you wouldn't be able to make such mistakes and lose your crypto assets. And then finally,
Isaac, before you hop, I was going to add to that. Yeah, exactly. Okay. I think that it's really good to see that, not a lot of people have been experiencing that in the beginning. I think while everything was kind of like settling and there's like new wallets on the, blockchain is fairly new to a lot of people still, and the crypto, payment system. And so like, in terms of people trying to scam, that's the beauty of blockchain, is that we're trying to, elevate the spirit of the fact that there's trust. And there's just a few things that, like we're saying on this call, we'll discuss, that we can make sure we do on our side to kind of ensure that we don't have issues like this, and we can kind of trust that our money is secure, our crypto is secure. So it is good. It is fortunate to see that trend is starting to kind of go down in terms of people trying to, because it's just not built that way. It doesn't really reward people trying to kind of cheat the system in that way. So
exactly. Yeah. And then the final poll question was, how do you usually use your MetaMask wallet? And 81%, actually more than 81.4% people chose desktop browser. So it means a lot of you guys use the desktop browser, which is really great. And using your desktop browser means you need to sort of vamp up on your security. And so with this browser comes like a lot of responsibility that you need to take up on yourselves and ensure your MetaMask account is really secure. Yeah. So, Anthony, would you have anything to say about this?
No, you said it perfectly. I like it.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So let's move on. And so we have like our Reddit. This is like an interface to our Reddit. And if you are not on our Reddit now, I would want you to quickly go onto our Reddit. It's r/MetaMask. Just go onto Reddit r/MetaMask. We have a lot of information. We have a lot of user guides. We have MetaMask mask nodes. We have so many knowledge-based info on there for you to actually use and digest. So yeah, feel free to go on there and then have fun. And so the next slide, we talk about support versus community. And Anthony, would you like to say anything about this?
Yeah, so we have basically 3 ways that you can interact with the community or support to get help on things. We have our community websites, which is community.metamask.io, and that's a great place to if you can go back, if that's a great place to basically get answers on interesting things, how to do certain things, common questions, basically anything that's like not super serious. Like, hey, how do I add like Avalanche, or is it possible to add this token on here, or what are some interesting things in Web3 that you've seen, right? Also, we do the same thing in reddit.com/MetaMask. That's a great place to ask general questions from the community and explore the wonderful things that is Web3. When it comes to more serious things that requires direct customer support, the only official place that you're going to get help is support.metamask.io. Please don't interact with anyone on Twitter, WhatsApp, Discord, any of these places. The only place that you're going to get direct help from us, if it's serious, is support.metamask.io. That cannot be stressed and emphasized enough.
Yeah, and to add to what Anthony said, it's more about, think of it more like support tickets. That's where support is. That's where you'd submit a support ticket that's more technical. It's more something where a dev support will get back to you on a very specific ask. If it's in community, that's where you can have, discuss ideas, share projects. You can have concerns and maybe you can help troubleshoot things. That's a great place to help troubleshoot things so you don't have to create a support ticket. Low-hanging fruit, we try to be in there to make sure we can answer any questions that are more FAQ about this stuff, kind of like the call today. In addition to Reddit and the community.metamask, we also have, we're on Discord. Our ConsenSys Discord has a great section for MetaMask. That's also where we can have a lot of good conversation in the community around MetaMask usage, whether you're just an end user or a developer even. And so definitely join us there. The shiny green button at the bottom will link you to our Discord, and definitely join us there as well.
Nice. Yep. So now we're going to basically talk about some of the questions from the community posts. And we're also going to talk about top questions from Reddit. And then if time permits, we would also be taking some questions from everyone here, or like those who ask questions on here will be taking questions from you and then answering them. And so the MetaMask solution. So what is the MetaMask solution? So the MetaMask solution is to provide access to the decentralized web. Now, the Web3 values privacy, self-sovereign identity, decentralization, user intention, and security. And so you would obviously need a good Web3 wallet, and MetaMask is your solution. MetaMask provides a secure, easy-to-use Ethereum wallet. And so unlike traditional crypto wallets, MetaMask includes a Web3 gateway that enables users to interact with hundreds of sites with one common login. Now, MetaMask is a cross-platform solution persisting across both mobile and desktop with a shared wallet, and MetaMask integrates with hardware wallets for heightened security. Now, you may ask, why should I use MetaMask? Because we have access to so many apps, and we have access to actually over 50,000 dApps, and a few of them, Axie Infinity, Compound, Decentraland, Uniswap, OpenSea. I'm very sure most of you are familiar with OpenSea, where you buy and sell NFTs. So if you have a MetaMask wallet, you can obviously log in there and then use your MetaMask to buy and sell NFTs. And then we have a question from Reddit.
Yeah, so a lot of these questions come from Reddit, but we picked them because they're very common ones. You also see these questions in other forums. But let's say somebody's like a new person and they're like, hey, man, I'm trying to import my MetaMask from a tablet to a desktop. How do I import my secret recovery phrase? And notice that the person said recovery phrase, but secret recovery phrase is the most important thing, because like a secret, it has to say secret. I think if there's anything that you need to know about this call, is that your secret recovery phrase should stay secret, like the most personal thing that that's most valuable to you, right? It must stay secret. If you tell a secret to someone else, it's no longer a secret. And this secret recovery phrase is the thing that accesses all your accounts. So it's the most important thing.
And also to that point, yeah, don't lose it, because that's also your access. And if you lose it, because it's so secret and so important and critical and unique, that you can't recover if you lose it. So that's important too.
Yeah, it's so secret that we don't know it, and so secret that only you should know it, and we cannot reset it. So if you go back, right, Isaac, yeah, the next one. So then the question is basically, if I'm importing my secret recovery phrase to the official MetaMask wallet, what should I use? And obviously you just have to use spaces. So if the seed phrase is like 1 apple 10 cube, you don't put commas, you put spaces. You should be able to see in the MetaMask wallet that you click in them, and the order is very important for your seed phrase. The order is extremely important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. And we go on to the next question.
Well, is my MetaMask linked to my identity? And let's say, so this person asks 3 questions here, basically. Is it linked to my identity? Let's say I give away my secret recovery phrase and password to someone else. Will they hack it? Will their account, will my account be theirs now? Basically, there's no, your identity is not linked to your MetaMask account. If you give away your secret recovery phrase, all your funds will be drained. Hence the word secret recovery phrase. I cannot emphasize this enough. This conversation just basically me saying secret recovery phrase is the most important thing. The secret recovery phrase is a secret for a reason. You should never share it. Whoever has the control of the secret recovery phrase controls the account. Not only that account, but all the accounts generated from it. You cannot undo transactions in the blockchain, and you cannot reset secret recovery phrases. So if you can't undo transactions and you can't reset them, and they're supposed to be secret, you should never share them, ever.
Exactly.
Any context.
Exactly. Yeah. And so basically, to answer the person's question, MetaMask is not automatically linked to your personal information, but obviously there are things that can be done to compromise that. And then we go to another question that we usually receive a lot.
Yeah. So this question is around gas fees. So the other thing is sort of like, all right, well, what are these gas fees? Why is it so expensive? So somebody wants to figure out a way to basically transfer assets from one account to another without paying the gas fee. And I agree, sometimes they're very high. I mean, I was trying to do something yesterday and it was very high on Ethereum mainnet. And the answer is simply no. and we'll get into why that's the case. So what are gas fees, basically? Gas fees are also known as network fees. And it's not determined by MetaMask, right? The same way that the internet is not determined by Google Chrome, right? MetaMask is just so network fees are determined by supply and demand for the network. It's almost like a highway. There's a lot of demand for a highway, and there's a toll, then the toll is going to go up over time. MetaMask has no control over this. Again, we're just an interface, right? The gas fee refers to the transaction fee on the Ethereum blockchain, and it's what users pay to get their transactions validated or completed. Basically, it's what users pay to incentivize the people who organize all the blocks in the blockchain, right? Without it, they won't basically they won't give any computational resources, and we can't be decentralized. So it's gas fees secure the network. If you go back to the last slide, the slide prior, gas fees secure the network because they reward the computers for processing transactions. That's the main use. Right? Gas fees are
and that
demand. Yep.
Yeah, and I was going to say, add to that is that what is really nice about gas fees and that MetaMask is trying to do to help everybody around this, since we're at the mercy of them as well, depending on where we're transacting, basically logging that transaction, is that there's like an estimate. So it can kind of give you a sense of, right now it's high traffic, a lot of usage, or people, if you're trying to do a more complex transaction, it's going to cost more, or, there's various things around gas fees, why they're higher or lower, but MetaMask tries to keep an eye. And I don't know, Anthony and Isaac, you can kind of, speak to that a little bit more, but we've added a feature where we're kind of like giving you a chance to kind of estimate, is this the time I want to wait, or do I want to do it now? So at least you have a sense of what you're going to be spending in order to get that transaction through. And just keep in mind that this is something that we just try to give you visibility on, even though, MetaMask is just kind of like the conduit for that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Shay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so okay, go on, Shay.
No, go ahead. Yeah, you got it.
Okay, sure. So the more gas you pay, the more likely your transaction will be included in the next block in the blockchain. And one thing you have to realize is that MetaMask does not make money off the gas fees. The gas fees go straight to the Ethereum blockchain, straight to the miners. And so MetaMask has no cutoff from these fees. And so we usually get a lot of people saying the MetaMask has high fees. The fees do not come from MetaMask. It comes from the Ethereum blockchain. So that's basically it. And so to check the gas fees, you can use the etherscan.io/gas tracker or ethgasstation.info. And any of these two should do the trick for you. You should be able to check the gas fees. And another thing you should know is that gas is paid in Gwei, and which is 10 raised to the power 9 Wei. And so 1 Wei is equal to 1 million Wei. And if you're wondering what Wei is like the lowest denomination of ETH. So it's basically like what a cent is to a dollar. That's what Wei is to ETH. So this is the interface of where to check for the gas fees when you go on Etherscan.
So Etherscan is a great place to basically, let's say somebody mentioned in the comments, how do I track transactions I've made, right? Etherscan basically allows you to read the blockchain. The blockchain is a public database that anyone can see. Ethereum is a blockchain, it's a public database. You can check transactions, token history, the assets you have, all that other stuff. You can also check the demand for the network, right? And the demand, usually they break it down to low, average, and high. Basically, the gas fees, the way they work is that the higher the demand, usually the higher the average price that people have to pay. High priority, you're gonna have to pay on average this amount. It fluctuates based on demand. Low means that once they clear out the high and the average, they'll get to the low. So let's say you want to pay no gas fees or something very little that's outside this range. If you do that, there's no guarantee your transaction is going to be included into the block, right? Because the miners are incentivized to collect as much revenue as possible. So the more demand there is, the higher the price over time. Think about it just like gasoline for your car. If there's a lot of demand for gasoline for your car, then the average price of the gasoline per liter or per gallon is going to go higher, right? If you try to negotiate with the gas station, probably not going to get far, right? So here's kind of the average gas pumps around this computational resource we call Ethereum.
And Member, I don't know if I'm saying right, also made a good comment about that. He's saying, the larger the blockchain or the network, the more people are going to be trying to transact. And that also is causing what I call traffic that can create more of a higher gas fee to verify the transaction. So just keep that in mind. That's why there's
exactly
small, obviously options. People are looking at options to kind of transact on different chains, and of course it would not be as expensive, but there's ups and downs to both of those.
Definitely. And so this is the interface for ETH gas station. And so we go on to the next topic, which is why decentralization. And decentralization because it makes a system more reliable and robust, and also it can't fail because of a single place failing. And so if we talk about centralized places, immediately there's like a havoc at the place, or like there's a fire outbreak or anything to destroy the area, it means that all the information, all the data on there is destroyed forever. And that doesn't augur well for the users. But if we say decentralization, it means it's all over the place, and one place failing doesn't prevent users from using it. It means that it's all over the place, and security is assured, because it means that if one part is down, the other places will be up to support the whole framework. And also programs in the blockchain can share data and logic with each other. So it's more efficient when it's decentralized. It's also censorship resistant, and then it introduces more choice. Anthony, would you like to talk a bit about decentralization?
Yeah, decentralization is think about the regular internet. There's not the CEO of the internet, right? See what I'm saying? There's obviously CEO of companies on the internet, right? But there's not, the internet's not really owned by anyone. It's almost like a public park, or a language, the written word. It's basically, in society, there exists these things that no one owns, but people benefit from. The internet's one of them. The moon is another thing. Maybe the concept of other public goods, like in a sense, highways, or maybe books from back in the day, like 1,000 years old. It's kind of in the public domain. Blockchains are kind of similar in some ways, because no one really owns the blockchain, but people benefit from it. People derive some sort of value from it. And the only reason that can happen is if it's decentralized. If it's centralized, even though, let's say, someone doesn't own it, they control it, it may introduce some sort of issues where there's not a lot of choice, or it's slower, or there's not enough innovation. With decentralization, you remove a system from collapsing if the central party fails, right? If, let's say, something fails on one side of the system, the rest of the system can go on and
exactly.
keep working. And for things that are very essential, like, let's say, financial systems, or maybe even social media systems, that's something that impartiality, neutrality, choice, censorship resistance, robustness, and reliability are necessary.
Exactly.
Yeah, and to add to that, yeah, overall, exactly, not having a single point of failure or a dependency. How does MetaMask fit into that? That's what we're trying to do, is be that kind of agnostic wallet, digital wallet that you can trust and has an ease of use. Someone was mentioning, how does MetaMask make money? Well, we do the swaps, which you are aware of, which actually allows you guys to more easily use your digital crypto wallet, MetaMask wallet, to make purchases with crypto, and you're not dependent on a particular chain, or you don't have to be in a particular network. And so we're trying to make it much easier for everyone to feel natural about being able to use their wallet. It's almost like when you travel to different countries, you exchange your money for the money that's used in that particular country. So we want to make that easy for you guys. And then that also allows you to have a trust about the wallet. And that's what we'll also talk about, is how do we feel good about knowing that my money can't be taken, or it can't be hacked, and that's what also decentralization does. It prevents this single point of what we call failure. It's harder for people to do that, which, in 2008, when we had the big crash, that's because centralized banks owned a lot of our, we're moving and controlling a lot of our money. And so that's why we can kind of put the sovereignty back into the community that actually uses the blockchain. So sorry, I just wanted to expound on that a little bit, Isaac.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shay. Yep, and so we talk about how to use other chains, and so this is another question we also get a lot of, and people complain about high fees on Ethereum, and they would want to use other chains. And so let's get right into that. So I know most of you are MetaMask users for over a year, so you basically know that we can set up different chains in MetaMask. And one of the ways to basically help you to do that is to go to Chainlist. And so at Chainlist, you could pretty much search for any network that you want, and then add it to your MetaMask and connect it to your wallet, and then add your custom tokens on them and send them out or send them in, do whatever you want with them. So Chainlist is one of the best places to go to get the different chains and get them onto your MetaMask. Yep, Anthony, would you like to talk about the Trilemma problem?
Yeah, so there's different chains, and not all chains are the same in some ways. Some chains exist and they have different purposes, right? Some chains are more for games. There's some games that have their own custom chains. Other chains focus more on high throughput. Some chains focus more on being very secure. So there's this thing called the Trilemma problem, where it says basically this open problem and decentralization research around blockchains is that it's not possible to have all three things of scalability, decentralization, and security, right? There's always a trade-off with these things, like anything. Engineering is like that. Engineering is not perfection. It is a trade-off based on the context and the use cases of the things you need, right? So in some ways, the general gist is that the more value you're dealing with, the more network security is needed. So more miners means more decentralization, which means more network security. This usually results in a little less throughput, right? But and higher gas fees. But at least you're sure that if you're doing, let's say, if you're playing a blockchain game, where you always like having transactions, Ethereum may not be it, unless you really want to spend a lot. A layer 2 or something on Polygon or something on another network would be useful for that, or a side chain specifically for that game. If you're dealing with like large sums of money in the millions, maybe you're doing DeFi or something like that, layer 1, aka Ethereum, is probably more secure for you because it's able to, the economic security of having more miners and having a more decentralized system is and more uptime is possible. It's more attractive when you're dealing with large sums of money.
So Anthony, I have a question. I was thinking maybe we can field one of these questions here, but first, like as a high level, maybe you guys can explain. So what do you think is the main benefit for people still on the fence, deciding and new to the crypto wallet world? Why MetaMask? Why is MetaMask something that would be a preferred choice right now?
So it allows you to access the Web3 world, right? If you have your assets, let's say on a centralized exchange, that's great. You can benefit from, sort of whatever price appreciation that exists. But these blockchains, these smart contract platforms are actually made for people to interact with them, right? So it's sort of like being able to use those assets. You have to use a wallet to interact with the Web3, right? So you move your assets from, let's say, a centralized exchange to your MetaMask wallet. And then from there, you can interact and do all these amazing things. Obviously, you have to be careful what you interact with, but it's almost a difference between, let's say, back in the day using AOL and only having like the walled garden for AOL, right? And then discovering the wider internet and all the cool stuff that's there, right? So like Tumblr back in the day, or just like niche websites with niche communities doing amazing things. So the same thing is with Web3. You can stay in the walled garden, or you can go out there and venture forth and go and find new interesting applications. Using MetaMask is a way, it's the portal to the internet of assets, the portal to the internet of value, the same way Google Chrome is, let's say, the portal to the internet of information. So using MetaMask is great because it has a long history of security. We'll get into why, but basically the way it's designed, it's non-custodial, so you have the responsibility to maintain your secret recovery phrases and practice good security hygiene. And once that's done, you're able to, use the wider Web3 world. There's over 50,000 dApps that you can connect to now. So there's all these amazing things that you can interact with and I think that's a very value prop.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was kind of thinking more so like, of course, that's why do we use a crypto wallet, is what you explain, in order to interact with Web3. Let's say I want to buy an NFT, or I want to be able to participate on a site that's run on blockchain. That's why you need a crypto wallet. But I was thinking also, what are the benefits of using MetaMask over the other crypto wallets that are out there? That's the question that I'd like to help everybody understand, is like, we do have a trust. We are the ease of use, in other words, having the ability to swap coins so that you can easily do transactions in the Web3 world. What other benefits with MetaMask over other crypto wallets, I was wondering?
Yeah, the security is the biggest one. I think that when you're dealing with value, you want to feel and know that the wallet is secure. Number one for me is security. Number two is stellar engineers that are working on this thing to extend it, to make it better all the time, without sacrificing the security aspect of things. Because
ease of use. Yeah, exactly.
We could always make things even more easier, but I think the idea is that you want to make things easier without ever sacrificing security, because you can sacrifice security and make things easier, but then you're putting people in a certain situation that maybe later on may not be that good. So for me, it's the security and the emphasis on best practices, best engineering practices, even like the way it's built deep down with like lava mode and secure JavaScript, the way it's programmed. It's stellar. It's an amazing team.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Our team not only looks at security, that's the number one priority, of course, like Anthony said, but we are looking at UX. We want to make it very easy for you to use, whether you're new to this or you're a seasoned user. We're listening to your feedback. We're trying to make sure it makes sense. It's intuitive, and that also gives you the confidence and the trust around using that as your crypto wallet. So we definitely are working on that. And on the heels of that, I'd like to ask a question coming in from Blue, which was upvoted. So what steps in terms of security, what steps can one take to secure your assets in MetaMask browser extension? Like, since we use MetaMask browser, the MetaMask is a browser extension, as you guys know. They're just wondering, what, even if you take those steps, are the assets still vulnerable, and are they less safe on a hardware wallet?
Oh, it's like 3 questions there. So
I mean, it's all one question, but it's basically asking about, like, what's the difference? Okay, you have your MetaMask extension on the browser, and you also have a hardware wallet. People want to know that these are the common things when people are new to this. Like, what are the vulnerabilities, and what do you guys recommend?
You want to go first, Isaac?
Okay, sure. So basically, the first rule is never share your SRP, your secret recovery phrase. That cannot be stressed enough. That is like that is the number one grill. Never ever share it, no matter what. And in terms of hardware wallets, we do know obviously that these hardware wallets are like cold storage, and so they also go like a long way in helping to keep them secure. And in using these hardware wallets, obviously the users or people who use these wallets would have to use the multi-sig, and then they would obviously have to give consent before it is used. So all these are like high secure practices that enable you to sort of keep your MetaMask connected to the hardware wallet safe. And so I guess the thing to walk away from here with is that never share your SRP, secret recovery phrase, never share it anywhere. And also make sure that you don't visit like any website, don't visit like any shady website. And thirdly, this one is kind of very very extreme, but I would personally recommend that you get like 2 separate devices, 2 separate laptops or phones or whatever you use, and then the one where you have MetaMask or you have your assets on, you try and keep that one safe, limit its usage or limit its access to the internet as much as you can. And then for the other one, you can practically do whatever you want, so that, I mean, in the event that you're hacked, it's not going to affect your MetaMask or any account. Yeah, so that's like another thing that I think is really good to point out.
So Isaac, someone had a question about that. So let's say, how exactly does it work? How is crypto being held in a MetaMask wallet on the extension, let's say, versus in your hardware wallet? What is that? What does that mean?
Okay, so the crypto is actually on the Ethereum blockchain, and MetaMask is just like an interface to sort of get you access to your assets. And so the whole point is that is why we constantly say that keep your secret recovery phrase very well, because even if you don't have access to your MetaMask or you lose your password, you can recover your account with your secret recovery phrase. And so it doesn't matter whatever happens, if you have your secret recovery phrase kept tight and like under a leash and secure, you will always get your account back no matter the eventuality, because your assets are not stored in MetaMask, they are stored on the blockchain, and MetaMask gives you like the interface to interact and send it or receive, and it's just like a UI or a face that just enables you to access your assets. So
interact with it,
exactly, it's just like a way to interact with it. And so in talking about this and with the hardware wallet, when you connect to your MetaMask, obviously you would need to have to give like a signature or sign so that you'll be able to process it and like send it or receive or anything of that sort. And so it's basically the same thing. Just keep your SRP safe.
Exactly. And I just want to add to that because I know it can be a little confusing. So essentially, if you, it's kind of like when you use a regular hard drive and you're storing your files. Now, if you want to back up your files or store your files on your, like say for a ledger, let's say you're using a ledger as your digital or your hard wallet. And you basically sync that up, but you're moving it onto your hard wallet. But if you want to use it for transactions in your MetaMask wallet, let's say that's on your browser, you have to move that to your MetaMask wallet so that you can now use that. And each time it's both referencing, like he said, your assets on the actual blockchain. So whether you have it in the hardware wallet or the MetaMask wallet on the browser, it's still accessed the same way through the secret recovery phrase, which used to be called seed phrase, and it's like 12 words. If you guys don't know, phrase is basically like a combination of 12 words. And so basically that's how you can access it. But if you want to actually use and buy something, you have to have it in your MetaMask wallet. And so there is a gas fee around that, moving it around. So keep that in mind. But right, that's what I think people are confused about. Like if you store it on your hardware wallet versus if you store it if it's in your MetaMask wallet to use and do transactions.
Exactly.
One more question. Oh, sorry. One more question about that. I was coming in from Andrew. So basically, I think we answered his question. That was kind of like how does the browser extension hold the crypto? It's not really holding it. Like he said, it's just a reference. And again, the secret recovery phrase is access to that, whether you have it on the hardware wallet or in your MetaMask wallet. So that's how you can kind of keep track of that. Can I ask, I wanted to address a question that a lot of people have upvoted, and I know Anthony already kind of answered it. He kind of mentioned it, but let's just mention it to everybody here in concerns around MetaMask and a MetaMask token. As Anthony mentioned, it is something that, trust me, the product team has been thinking about. This is a huge thing that we've been exploring, but there's a lot of moving parts. And so in order to do it right and to do it well, we're going to take a little time, quite marinating on it at the moment. So just know it is in the works and it is something that we're considering. But like he said, there's quite a few things that we want to consider before we come out with something like that, because we want it to be really great for the community. So I just wanted to address that. Anthony or Isaac, did you want to speak to that at all?
Yeah, because it's such a large, complicated product, I wouldn't hold my breath on it. Instead, I will just focus on how great the product is and leverage it to do as many amazing things as possible. There are plenty of amazing projects out there as well that have all these kind of liquidity mining, yield farming projects. If it happens, you'll know about it officially from us. But the current position is I wouldn't hold my breath because it's such a large, complicated thing. I'll say no comment. There's obviously conversation. There's always obviously excitement about it. But to be the most conservative, I would say don't hold your breath. At least not now.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not hold your breath. We're actually also really focusing on the reason for this call as well is that we want to make an excellent crypto wallet for you guys to use for now. Like MetaMask wants to be that wallet for you guys. And so we really want to put our effort and focus on doing that really well. And then I think after that, we can start exploring, expounding on that, one more question, you guys, before you go to your next slide. Any plan to to add a swap feature on Phantom and Avalanche network to MetaMask? Is that on the roadmap?
The Phantom's a separate wallet, so that's on them.
Okay.
Yeah, Avalanche is a separate network, but I would say suggest a feature on community.metamask.io and try to get a lot of likes on it and upvotes. And then that's something that eventually that swaps can be essentially moved to other chains like Polygon or Avalanche or anything that's EVM compatible. Yeah, but that's
awesome.
a great idea.
Thank you, Anthony. And that leads to the next question I was going to pose for you to answer for everybody. How can people, after this call, suggest features they'd love to see or give feedback in that way? What is the best, channel for that?
community on MetaMask.io, and on the Reddit. We're going to start a thread where people once a week are able to put their features and upvote them.
Like feature requests?
Yeah, feature requests. If
Okay,
you have a
great.
feature request, you can go to the Reddit and the community.metamask.io. Our official Reddit is reddit.com/MetaMask. Say, hey, feature request, and then mention the feature and detail it out. Trust me, we monitor the Reddit. So
yeah, that's why I want to make sure we let them know where to
we'll
put the request so that we have eyes on it. That's great.
Yeah, we'll definitely see it.
Awesome. And go ahead. So that I feel like the couple other ones were about the tokens. So if you guys want to continue on the slide deck.
All right, sure. So yeah, so 2 chains, 2 tokens. So I mean, if there are different chains, then they require different tokens. And so this is in the sense that if you are on Ethereum chain, you have to use Ethereum for gas fees. If you are on the Polygon, you have to use Matic. If you're on the Binance Smart Chain, you have to use the BNB for gas fees. So that is how it is. If you're on any chain, you have to use the token of that chain. And so it's like going to a different country. You need to use their token to buy things. And so that's why if you're on the Binance Smart Chain, you have to use the BNB. If you're on the Ethereum chain, you have to use Ethereum for gas fees. And we know there are so many custom tokens that can be added. It doesn't matter even if you have like 5,000 USD worth of that token, you would need to still have like an amount of the native token of that blockchain in order to send the funds. Yeah, so basically that's it. Anthony, would you like to talk about this a little?
Yeah, certain chains require certain assets. So, if you're on BNB, you can't use your ETH. You just need to use the native token for that chain. So yeah, I mean, it depends on the chain. I would check the chain's website. Yeah, it's usually a rule of thumb. If you're on a different chain, you'll probably have to use a different token, unless they accept ETH.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, and so we go to another topic that is mostly visited, and adding custom tokens. And so a lot of times there are a lot of users who just add tokens, and a lot of them add like scammy tokens, and it ends up complicating their wallet and their account. But if you go to CoinGecko, you should have like all the contract addresses, and you'll be able to do this automatically instead of getting the info and then putting it into it like manually. So what CoinGecko does is once you get there, you click on those 3 dots, and you can choose whatever chain you want to add the custom token to in your MetaMask, and it would automatically be added. And so whenever you make a transfer of that particular token, it will just reflect over there, and you'll be able to see your balance on there. So it's as easy as ABC with CoinGecko. And then we go to a big one. 2FA should be added. We get this a lot. This is like something that we are pretty much swamped up with in Reddit. So Anthony, would you like to talk about 2FA?
Yeah. So 2FA is very popular in the Web2 world, and you can think about it as a pin almost. Usually, let's say if you go to Coinbase or some sort of centralized exchange, you would have like an SMS code or Google Authenticator code or something like that. But the thing is, if somebody in this question they ask, how do you? This question says, if they got my seed phrase, it's either email or SMS or Google Auth, but it should be done to prevent hackers in case they got my seed phrase. The thing about the blockchain is that once somebody has your secret recovery phrase, aka your seed
game
phrase,
over.
It's game over. There is nothing you can do. No amount of authentication. It's like they're already in the bank vault. So like having additional locks is not going to help you, right? So you can put as many bolts on the door as possible, but if you leave your window open in your apartment or your house, it doesn't really make a difference, right? So you should always keep your secret recovery phrase secret. So let's say 3-factor authentication. It's like, okay, all right, we're gonna add another factor. The thing is, it's that no matter how many bolts on the door that you put on, it's not going to help you. The things that do help you is one, never sharing your secret recovery phrase and backing it up so that you can access it and no one else. Two, you have to understand that these are decentralized solutions, right? 2-factor authentication relies on centralized solutions, but we don't hold your keys. You hold your keys, right? You hold your secret recovery phrase. That's the key that allows access to your blockchain. The thing is that MetaMask, the wallet, doesn't hold your crypto, right? The crypto's all on the blockchain. What MetaMask does is it takes a secret recovery phrase, does some cryptography on it, and allows you or whoever has that secret recovery phrase to access the database, right? And says, okay, you have the key on this public database and you can move these things, right? So putting factor authentications on your MetaMask is not going to do anything. And we'll show like a slide why. 2FA doesn't work on MetaMask because MetaMask is non-custodial. Non-custodial means that MetaMask doesn't have your secret recovery phrase in a centralized server. There's no centralized server. You have it, we don't have it. Your secret recovery phrase is stored locally on your device, right? Your assets live on the blockchain, not inside the wallet. And 2FA won't protect you from losing your secret recovery phrase, like we said before. If somebody has your secret recovery phrase, they can access it from anywhere in the world. It's a difference of having, let's say, a pin on your phone, and on your phone you have, let's say, your banking app, right? We'll get into that example later on. But if somebody has your banking information, right, like right now, what's the difference between a password and a secret recovery phrase? Your password basically limits people for your MetaMask password limits people from basically being able to interact willy-nilly on your account. It's almost like having a password on your Google Chrome, right? Having a password on your Google Chrome so nobody can use it, or having a password on your computer so no one can use your computer or something like that. It links to your wallet, not to your accounts, right? So your secret recovery phrase can't be reset, right? The secret recovery phrase is what controls your account at the blockchain protocol level, right? So you're able to access that from any computer in the world if you have that piece of information. So no matter how many locks you have, no matter how many factor authentications you have, if you give that away, it's game over for you, right? The secret recovery phrase is what links you to the blockchain, not the password. And the secret recovery phrase cannot be reset, and we cannot revert transactions. That's why it has to be secret. Right. And this is just kind of like a very simple thing right here, which is like the password is local, right? So the scammers, the only reason that the password will be useful if the scammer is like in the same room as you, and you'll say, let's say you're in a coffee shop and you get up and the password saw you type in your thing. The scammer saw you typing in the password. You go to get your coffee. Somebody comes in really quickly, types in the password locally, and sends the stuff, right? But let's say the password is not going to be in the same room as you. The scammer is not going to be in the same room as you. Let's say they're in another country somewhere, thousands of miles away. The password doesn't do anything for them, right? They can't access your crypto with the password because the password, again, is only to interact with MetaMask. It doesn't control your accounts. What does control is a secret recovery phrase. The scammers want this. This keeps basically your password is local. The secret recovery phrase is global and allows to be accessible from anywhere in the world. That can be reset. So again, if there's anything that you take from this call is never share your secret recovery phrase. That's the most important thing.
Exactly.
Not your password, right?
Exactly.
So if you go back to this image, that's what they want, right?
Yeah. They want your secret recovery phrase.
So, and Anthony and Isaac, there was a question around that. Let's see, who is it coming in from? We uploaded it. In terms of like, for example, the concern is like, okay, we understand it's a reference, but they're accessing their crypto with MetaMask. What if something happens with MetaMask? What happens to their crypto? Like, that's a concern.
So, Okay, so that's
coming from Andrew.
Okay, sure. So, I mean, like we already said, the crypto, your assets are stored on the blockchain. And so if anything happens to MetaMask, all you have to do is use your SRP and import into another wallet. That's all. And you get all your accounts, all your assets, everything back. So you see why we stress on your secret recovery phrase. You can basically use it with any wallet and still get your account, get your crypto assets in touch.
It's essentially
it.
your account, right? You know, that's your account.
Yeah,
Like, you can move it around to a hardware wallet, to a MetaMask wallet, to another wallet, but as long as you have that SRP, that's your account. That's your record of it on the blockchain. Great. And one more question about like NFTs actually. Is there something with MetaMask and the pipeline? I know, Anthony, you did mention a little bit, but like, can people see their NFT collection on MetaMask if they purchase through MetaMask? And also, is there any, you know, I think we had a couple questions. Are there any plans on NFT swaps, send receive integration that's coming from Heriton? And I think
so there's something in the works. I've seen some mock-ups that is very beautiful. I can't give a date, obviously, because you don't want to like create an expectation and then it doesn't happen and it disappoints. But what I can say is that we are working on it and it's going to be great. It's going to be beautiful. It's
about NFT swaps, you're saying?
Yeah. Well, not with NFT swaps, but with being able to display your NFTs on.
Being able to see your collection. Okay, so
now, like
as of now, yeah.
As
of now, can you just see the transaction? Sorry to cut you off. As of now, what do you see if you do make a purchase in terms of NFTs?
If you wanted to see something, you have to go to like OpenSea.
You see the transaction?
Yeah, you see the transaction and all that. But there's something in the works to make it more visually appealing. And I think we'll all be very excited about that.
That's great. And to that question, it's wherever you are, wherever you purchase that NFT. So it could like OpenSea or Rarible or whatever that marketplace is. That's where you can track, your collection. It's think of MetaMask wallet as like PayPal or Venmo. So basically, you're just using that as a way to purchase that. So to track that collection, you probably track that on the place where you bought it in the marketplace.
Yep. All right. So we're now going to talk about the types of scams. And the first one is fake MetaMask websites. So, pretty much a lot of scammers use Google Ads to siphon like hundreds of thousands of dollars from fake crypto wallets. And so when you sometimes go onto Google and you type MetaMask, you may see like a website that is in no way associated with MetaMask, but it's like actually the one for the scammers. And so that is how they are able to sort of siphon through these Google Ads. And the official MetaMask website is metamask.io. So it would be in your interest to bookmark the website so that whenever you go to a different website, you would obviously notice that the star is not on there. So you would know that it's fake or that's the scam. The official MetaMask website is metamask.io. And then also another thing to look out for is the scams usually use like different alphabet letters to trick users. So if you don't look at it carefully, you might overlook it and think that is like the actual official website, when unfortunately that isn't. And then they use Google Ads to place those scammy websites on top. And then we have, so this is the Google Ads scams. So as you can see, we have a couple of them. And then the green arrow shows the actual MetaMask website, and the red one shows the fake ones. Anthony, would you like to talk about this?
Yeah, scammers like to use Google Ad scams to confuse people. Just because don't click on the first link you see, make sure you are on the correct site. Once you have the correct MetaMask website, just bookmark it and don't necessarily willy-nilly type it into the browser, because you might miss a letter that may be a scam website. It's very easy to actually clone a website and put it up. And we have resources that we try to always take these scam sites down as fast as we see them. If you do see a scam website, please report it to support.metamask.io. Tweet at us, go on Reddit, mention it. Thank you to the people who've done that before, or go to community.metamask.io. But just keep a vigilant eye. It's not to scare anyone. It's just to make sure that just like, you're walking in the city, keep your eyes open. Just like you're walking in a new place, keep your eyes open. Just be safe. just like you would the regular internet. You wouldn't want to click on any link and get a virus. You wouldn't want to click on any link and get the wrong MetaMask. It's no different than security.
And like Anthony said, we are at the hour here, but one more question on the scam thing. There was a question, but I do want to remind everybody that this is a time where we want to let you know if you have feature requests, where can you go? I think we'll give you the links at the end here. We are sharing out this slide deck with all of you as well after the call. And also, how can you maybe help, monitor the community with us? This will keep MetaMask solid and trustworthy. And so if you do see things, bringing that up in the channels that Anthony mentioned, that will help us have eyes on it so that we can get ahead of it for you guys too. So that's really helpful. Though the question came in from Emil is, are we doing anything about the wallet drain scams that are out there right now? He referenced Zers.io, FlowDAO.io, You see that question? So yeah, is there anything we're doing in particular?
Yeah, so there's a lot of types of scams, right? One of the scams is giving away too many permissions. So a smart contract is like a regular contract, right? In the sense that just because somebody gives you a piece of paper and says it's a good deal, doesn't mean it's a good deal. I mean, you should read the fine print. Just because something is being offered to you doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. Smart contracts are the same. You can give away too many permissions in a smart contract, so that it allows for somebody to drain your funds. I make a joke about it like it's being almost like in a Britney Spears conservatorship, sort of like it's like, hey, sign this, and then you have no control of any of your assets ever, right? Usually, if you have an account and you sign into a certain DApp and you give it permissions, you should really check the permissions to see what are you actually giving them control with. There's these sort of like scams where you give too many permissions, and then the smart contract owner can basically rug pull people and take all the assets. So always make sure that you know what permissions you're giving away. And then once in a while, I would say set it on your calendar. Just go through, there's certain websites that allow you to check the permissions for all the things that you've signed for, and you can remove all those permissions. So I would say on the daily, you should do that, or monthly or weekly. Just because when you give something permissions, unless you revoke them, they don't go away, right? So just be vigilant of those type of things. I'm not sure the particulars of this scam, but a lot of the scams relate to certain dApps or that they ask for too many permissions. It's like, hey, come on down to my party, sign this contract. You sign the contract, and then because you signed the contract, they're able to do all these weird things. So just make sure what you sign is what you're signing up for, not what you think you're signing up for. And
Adam was asking where. Sorry, Anthony. Adam was asking where do we remove those permissions? Like you mentioned.
I'll put a link in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And Jamie was wondering, well, why not audit each DApp integrating with MetaMask? Is that something that's a difficult procedure? Yeah. So I think it's more convoluted or a bit more complex. So, but you can speak to that.
It's not it's like Google making sure that every single website on the internet is legit. Facebook making sure that every comment is legit, or YouTube making sure everything is. It's just not possible. The auditing
it's not possible. Yeah.
Yeah, the auditing process is very complex and convoluted. It's like it requires a lot of diligence and focus. We can't necessarily say that, oh yeah, we're going to audit every single DApp on Web3. It's just not, from a time perspective, no matter how many people we hire, it's not possible. Yeah. What we can do is
Yeah, sorry, Anthony. I was going to say, we try to get ahead of that by being proactive and more preventative medicine on this. So we encourage the community to help us to kind of encourage and reward good behavior and good contributions and participation. So, and then of course, our technology will, we can, again, we're not going to know if something, we put in the safeguards we can, but outside of that it's up to the community to help us kind of like, validate, the good behavior, if you will.
Yeah, it's like Gmail or any email client. It's not possible for an email provider, even service provider, to filter every single email. But common sense goes a long way, right? So with common sense,
common sense,
not a lot of people, not a lot of people are falling for email scams. There's still some that do, but for the most part, I think society develops a new sense making, and they're able to know. Eventually, things will be common sense. Like I shouldn't give too many permissions. I shouldn't interact with every DApp. this sounds too good to be true. Eventually, people use common sense.
And also you guys sharing your stories, exactly that. Like, oh, I got this site. And so you give us all a heads up that this particular site is trying to do something kind of questionable. Now that it's on my radar, now I'm not going to fall for that. So that helps. All of us can help each other by bringing that up and giving visibility to things that we're looking at and questioning. And, you know, sometimes it's nothing. And sometimes it gives everybody a chance to at least do their due diligence.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah,
stay tuned for MetaMask Learn. It's coming soon.
Oh yeah.
Soon.
Absolutely.
Asterisk. We're aiming for a launch, but we're working on a lot of these things. If there's something that you want to learn, please go on the community.metamask.io. Please go to the reddit.com/metamask, and ask a question. I would like to learn about this. I would like to learn about that. And we're definitely watching. We're definitely looking at it, and we're definitely looking to improve that experience and that sense making.
Absolutely. And what Anthony said, that's exactly what these kind of calls are helping us to kind of put together and aggregate is like we are putting together an effort called MetaMask Learn, which is going to be a great repository for you guys on all this stuff, an ongoing living kind of evolution of you know, what's going on with MetaMask and how we can kind of grow together. And so look out for that. That's something that we are listening to your feedback, and we want to make sure that we're identifying, you know, the strengths and where the pain points are that we need to take a look at. So with that, we are at the hour. We're a little over. Just want to let you know, thank you so much, Anthony and Isaac, for a great community call and presentation around really important stuff, security, how we're using our wallets, why is MetaMask a good choice in the blockchain world, and helping you guys be diligent about, you know, keeping your stuff secure. And so, and that know what to look for kind of stuff. If you have any questions, there's a bunch of questions that were answered on this, you will be able to see the replay of this. You'll be able to see the questions and the answers and all the chat if you'd like to. We are also going to share the slides with you guys. And if you want to continue the conversation or you had questions that weren't answered, please join the Reddit community that we will give you links to, as well as the Discord community. And we'll be able to continue the conversation with you there. And thank you so much. Please, we want to hear your feature requests. And please let us know if there are any spams or scams that you want to bring to our attention. Anything else you guys would like to leave with the audience today? Isaac and I.
Yes. Never share your secret recovery phrase. And you can sum everything up in that.
It should be a T-shirt.
We should create co-ops and T-shirts. Never share your secret recovery phrase. Don't hold your breath. Never share your secret recovery phrase. Exactly. Please reach out to us on community.metamask.io and reddit.com/metamask. We want your feedback. We want to talk to you. We really care about our community, and we're really excited for you guys on this Web3 journey with us. That's my bit.
Thank you, everyone, and we hope to see you at the next one. This is very exciting, and thank you to your contributions in making MetaMask really great.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.